My guy, Jaycob. Welcome, bro.
What's good, Chris, man?
We're living the dream, man. If I was any better, I'd be you. How was your day today?
Oh, mate, some days.
Yep. Yep. You were just telling me when we were in the lobby, you caught a bit of sun today. That is a stellar business meeting. Was that the game?
Mate, if I get a little bit closer, mate, you can see like these panda eyes, mate.
I love it. I love it, dude.
3 hours, 21 degrees. I was speaking to Jonathan Ferguson earlier in Austin, who said how hot it is.
Dang.
I was like, how hot? 100 degrees. I thought, well, if he's giving me panda eyes in London, what's he going to give me when I get out to Texas?
Oh no, I froze up. It'll come back.
Where he goes. Yeah.
Jonathan Ferguson. I love that dude. I just connected with him. I think probably because of you. I saw you guys have banter back and forth. Or is he and Dad good also?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he's a dad, man. I think he's got 2 girls. And
Okay.
when I first joined, like through Warren, he was one of like the first guys as well. We jumped on a call, good synergy. Mate, he's based in Austin. He does sales, GTM. It just is a good click. That's it, straight
That's
away.
awesome.
But
That's what it's about.
yeah,
That's what it's all
100%. And
about.
it's one of those, isn't it? It's like we're looking to get out to the States at some point as a business. How do you connect there now? You can't network in person. You can't go to these events, these shows. So like it kind of just, things just happen.
Yeah.
Like Warren popped up like a day when I started thinking about US, like literally around the same sort of time. Had an idea about US before, maybe like around that thing. Jumped in, right fit. You know what it's like. It's like you're a dad, you're in there as well, right?
No,
You
for
you
sure.
don't
That's
have
how
the
I met all
clues.
those clowns, is just from that community.
Yeah, like they just don't like you don't think about joining the community like it's kind of like what your other half might do or something, and he kind of just popped up and jumped in, and obviously coming in early, like it was kind of a bit like wildfire. It just kind of started and
Yeah.
had like good connections, people wanted to talk, etc. And then maybe quieting down a little bit like the last month, but then the last few weeks he's like all popped up again, where people have like maybe found the time again to like get the networking going. But it's a good stead, if we do it a couple of years, then
No, for
hopefully
sure.
by the time I get out to the States, I'm not like a stranger, you
No,
know?
definitely, dude. It's gonna blow. And that's what I think is one of probably the coolest things about LinkedIn and like what you and I are leaning into, especially with our content, is bro, I met so many friends. Like I met you, obviously Warren, Guy. I was just talking to Charles and we were talking about you as well. Like, and that's wild. Like, where the hell would we ever get to do something like that if it wasn't for a platform? Or really, and I'll credit you for this as well, it's hard to start. Like, it's hard to make your first post. You feel like you're putting yourself out there, but there are so many like unintentional blessings that have come along with it. And so now, like, we're both posting at the same consistency. Like, I'm totally leaning into it because, like, business aside, I'm just meeting some tremendous people. And so, look, and like, this is my first, maybe I'll make an announcement. This is me taking mutual connections outside of the US. You are officially my first non-US resident on the
Oh, way,
cast.
man.
And so I appreciate you, Jaycob. You
Oh, Matt, I
spiking
appreciate
it
you. I
in,
see,
bro.
I see some of the gigs and stuff. Like, obviously, Julie come across well, and obviously Warren, like, kind of thought this is a good thing. It's not,
Yeah.
it's not like massive. It's no like intensity, but I'd already clocked onto it before. Like, obviously, that dad goes going around, but like, mutual connections. It's a good way to sit. It's casual. It's not
Yeah.
too intense. No expertise. Like sometimes we're building a business, right? We're like maybe 15, 16 months in. Someone wants to jump on to be an expert. I'm kind of like sometimes like, I get asked to be a nib in that sometimes. And I'm like, I'm not ready for it. Like I've got all of it there, but like I don't know how to deliver it just yet,
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I'll be honest about that. Like you don't. Like you might have 10, 20, 30 years experience, but sometimes switching that into the way you do it, not just for clients, but for external partnerships or connections, it's hard.
For
Mutual
sure.
connections are a bit more like, seemed to me. And obviously when I see it, I was like, this looks like a good start point. It's a good first base.
No, for sure. For
You know
sure.
what I
Dude,
think? So
I'm so stoked that you came on, man. I've been following you for so long. So honestly dope to get the opportunity to rap with you. I want to lean into Dad Good a little bit, less about the community, which is awesome. But dude, can I just say you have a beautiful family. Your kids, I see that you and
appreciate
your
it, brother.
wife love each other. It seems like you guys are doing stuff that is intentional to keep that flame alive. Like, talk to me about how you built this like fortress of a family that is just like, bro, every time you post pictures with you and your kids, I'm like, that's my guy. That's real love in living life. Like, talk to me about that, dude.
You know what, mate? I think it comes back down to like it's not even like intention right now. Like there's more presence in my life right now because that's what I've been looking for. And like maybe the first year with the kids, like not so much as babies, and then trying to understand why it wasn't like instant. But like going back, like I'm talking like almost a decade. Like for me, it was always like after certain things, like try and build your own base, try and build your own family. So we're probably always like visualizing that or like manifesting it from like I'm talking like almost a decade ago.
Yeah.
Lil and I have been together for like almost 10 years now. And she moved in with me like a week basically after we met or like got back together again and whatever it might have been. But from the start, like it was always solid. It wasn't maybe like there and you talk about it. But for me personally, it was always, I knew what I wanted and to get there and you kind of put it out and you let go of it and you forget about it and you get on your life, you do all these things together, you know, just as partners. And then when it did kind of happen, you know, you never feel ready. Maybe as a dad, you never
Yeah.
feel ready.
No,
You
bro,
don't have
you're
that like
never ready.
natural
You're
willing to,
never ready. You're
you know.
spot on.
And then it come back around. But then like for me, like I had a purpose and a why, but it kind of just changed a bit. Like it just elevated massively and it
Yeah.
become a lot easier. And then I think as it's become easier, like maybe not when like B was first born, like as a newborn, I didn't have that like natural maternal connection.
Mhm.
But then I just tried to find the why. But then it just one day, I can't even tell you when, but it just clicked.
Yeah.
I've come from like a big family, like a
I
lot of
was just
family
gonna
knowledge,
ask, yeah,
family
you
together.
got a lot of
Like
brothers and sisters?
no, just one sister,
Okay.
but there's a good few hundred of us in like Southeast London. My cousins are very close to me. Like
Okay.
we're almost like brothers and stuff. So like we're close. Like you've grown up with my mum and my aunts and stuff. Like they will always get us together like every couple of weeks, every month. Like
Oh,
very
for
close,
sure.
right? Like, all living nearby, which is a blessing, right? So you go up that way and then moved away, like another story, but moved away like with the army, come back to the city, obviously like, after like 5, 6 years. But that thing kind of never leaves you. Obviously, when we had our family, like probably more so as well with Lil and her family, she's very much like she'll go and see my mum with the kids without me being there, like stays connected. She's a bit like that,
Yeah.
where like she'll make sure that everyone sees each other because that's all it is at the end of the day. It's just a bit of presence.
Yeah.
And I
Dude, it's
think
so important though. There's so much power in the presence.
there is. And like, I think maybe I lost sight of it for a bit, you know. But like with Lil, like where she's always consistently done it, like
Mhm.
unintentionally, I think that kind of gave me a bit of inspiration to like put a bit more effort back into like seeing family, etc. Like we live in London, our family is Southeast London, which I don't know if you kind of know in
I,
like cities
I'm
that's
a
still
I'm a football hooligan, so I mean, all of the even the tiniest suburbs across your town, chances are I know proximity to greater cities, so you can take me there, man.
that's it. And it's like, but you know, you're just outside of like maybe where Charlton is, for example.
Mhm.
It's the League One team. They're in the playoffs. My
Yeah.
partner Sam's a Charlton fan, so he wants me to shout that one out probably. They got through to the final last night. So, um, but like they're like 20, 30 minutes away in traffic, maybe 40 minutes, but that's still far in England. Remember, we don't travel much.
Yeah.
Like in the US, like 5 hours is calm. Like here, five
Yeah,
hours is
that's like a regular
other end of the
Tuesday.
country. Yeah, yeah, like, nobody does that. Like we go to Wales a bit because obviously Lil's sister lives her partner's Welsh, and we go up to
Okay.
Cardiff. We was up West Bay like last weekend, like just beautiful for my little nephew's
Beautiful,
birthday.
I bet. Beautiful, dude. Cardiff. I mean, obviously I only seen pictures, but my gosh.
Yeah, they have so much coastal. And the thing is that when the weather's good, like in London, it's a little bit cooler there, like a couple of degrees, but like it's just fresh.
Yeah.
London is just smoggy, man. Like there's nothing better than London in the sun when you're working. Don't get me wrong, but as you can tell from today, you know.
Right.
But like it's just nice to get away sometimes, like a decompressor. We turned up to this place, West Bay, just lovely, completely detached. That couple like whole weekend.
Dude, so
Um,
epic.
but it's Lil that probably is the one that's in your day to day that's probably made me feel that I need to do it more.
No,
You
for
know.
sure.
So listen, it's like a blessing. And then just coming back down to it, really, I think everything I've asked for now, like, you know, you feel kind of complete in your life. Obviously, we started a project and a business and you're just grafting and building and, you know, you can dream for years, you plan for months and you can just work on the day you've got. All the gratitude and the prayers that I have now literally just goes back to all I ask for is, can I just be present every day?
Yeah.
You know? And it's not easy. Do you know what I mean? You're working, your mind ticks over, you want to stay. Kids obviously have a few hours window before they go to bed. But everything that was probably done like years before, which I used to say to Lil, like, we're going to live close to London. So when I get back, the commute's not going to take 2 hours off my day.
Yeah.
So we're like 20 minutes from work, a couple of stops on the train. Like, and it's funny, like everything that I have now is stuff that not that I wanted like a year ago, but it's stuff that I wanted like 6, 7, 8 years ago. Was already planning towards to have
Yeah.
for this.
Well, that was you putting that energy into the world. And like, I mean, dude, I believe in that. Like, what do they call it? The law of attraction. Like, if you
Yeah,
put that positive mindset and those type of vibes out, that's how that stuff works. That's so dope, dude.
I know, man, and that's it. Like and it gives you more belief in it, right? So believe it years ago for other things, and then now is that affirmation, like reaffirmation, even where because you've got kids and probably more purpose now than you had before.
Yeah.
You know, you just think to yourself, like, instead of like just believing it, you just like, it is what it is. Like, that is just how it works.
No,
And it becomes like
definitely.
just nature, right? So that's where I'm at now. Like
I love it. I
it
love it.
doesn't affect, like, mate, we've got so much stuff going on and wearing so many hats right now. We've got a training program starting in June, grads coming in, everything's done, 4 weeks to go. I'm just not stressed. Like
Yeah.
everything will just fall into place. And it's
That's a
kind of
beautiful thing, man. And look, and maybe I can I'll say I'll take it forward, and I could make the assumption that you're not stressed because you have it figured out at home. Like, I think that everything that happens outside of business, if your home life is in good shape and it's something that you're looking forward to, and I see from the pictures and the outings of how you and your little team at home hang out with each other, like, if you got that on lock, everything else is just kind of nonsense. Like, the good stuff, the bad stuff, but like, and that's what I think I love about following you and kind of seeing your story is that you prioritize that why. I think that you lean into the unknown. Like, there's obviously baby books, but when I became a dad, dude, like, I didn't know what the hell I was doing. Are you kidding? I didn't know if I was ready to be a dad. I still had some of my own demons that I had to try and clean up and take care of. And so, dude, I just think that that's so fire, man. I think that you're doing it right, and it's obviously transpiring to your success outside of family life. And, bro, that's so excellent. I gotta say.
appreciate it, man.
Uh,
No, honestly, that's it though. Like, it's funny, isn't it? Because I prep on Sundays for work, like almost every week, right?
uh-huh.
No one's perfect. It's like I don't like giving that image as well. Like on LinkedIn, it's a social platform. You're talking. I tell people most Sundays that do this, like just prep yourself. Like, but the thing is, when you do that, you go into work. That is easy.
Oh yeah.
Doesn't take too long. I don't like shut my door. I leave the door open. I do it. The kids come in. They want to draw on the book as well and help. And I tell them what I'm doing. Try and integrate them a little bit.
Yeah.
But like, it's also like prepping for it. Like everything is just prepare for the week ahead. When you get to Monday, you wake up. It's easy to go to work because you know what you got to do that
You
week.
got a
You know what is
roadmap. Yeah.
what your non-negotiables are. You put in your systems to like fall back onto. So if you go for a few beers and you go off track for a day, you go straight back into doing your journaling, your meditation, gym, whatever it might be. But we have these non-negotiables, and I do it the same for like my staff as well coming in because they haven't like been brought up that way. Something that's taken me years to do. Some things that people don't want to share because either they think that people would think they're too hippie or whatever. But it just works, mate. It's just systems,
Yeah.
right? They're never going to change your life in one instant, but like you do these little bits over and over and over and over, and it compounds.
Dude, that
So we share that
discipline, it's a game changer, man. Bro, you sound like a tremendous
100%.
mentor to your staff. Are you kidding me? I wish that I had somebody feeding some of these just non-negotiables, as you put it. Like, hey, man, take care of your mental. And I think that that's something, especially being men, being fathers, going back to why I think the dad good community is so cool, is
I agree, mate.
it
Yeah.
is a space where we do kind of get to be vulnerable. And I see people asking for help. Like, there's that old adage, like, dads never ask for directions. Like, you either just stay lost or you figure it out. But that place is a place to ask for directions. And so I think that that's super powerful and clearly shows what type of mentor that you are to your team, dude. I think that's so dope.
Appreciate it, man. But that is it. Like, just going back to that, like, that good is that. Like, you don't. I think like a couple of weeks ago, like Warren was sending a couple of messages in my like private chats, like, "What's going on? Haven't heard from you." But I only have the Slack, like the
Yeah.
little private thing for us guys, on my work laptop. I don't use it outside of work. You know? I wasn't quiet. Obviously, I didn't post nothing like whatever it might have been. But then people are checking in on you, right? So you've got that kind of like thing that some of your good pals do. They check in every few months and stuff, which helps more than you
That's
think, right?
cool. I'm all
You know,
about that. Yeah.
and that's what it is. But I only use it like at work anyway. Like I use it as like one of them things where like it's not our main Slack. We have another Slack with one of our providers and stuff. So
Mhm.
it's still there. But sometimes when the day's a bit quiet, you flick to it and like there might be something that is it like saying about faith and a bit motivational, or like gym or anything. Someone's got a question, and this is what goes back to the mentoring and stuff. Like when you start teaching or preaching or whatever you want to say about things that you do, you might be at 70%, but as soon as you start teaching other people about it, you go to 85 immediately,
Yeah.
right? And that's the difference between like 100 and 110%. That's the blessing, obviously, like the position we're in now, is that we can give like these people coming through stuff, but it actually helps you as well, because not just to
Oh,
teach them,
for
but like you,
sure.
you know, then you have to step up and actually do more than what you're telling them to do.
Yeah.
And it goes into like that good as well. Like sometimes you're a bit slumped or whatever, but there's someone doing something, but it's not as we got into earlier a little bit, like you don't want to be too like boastful. Me and my kids are doing this and that, but that gives kind of like a little private convo, like instead of guys' mothers meeting. It
Yeah.
might not be as intense as what normal ones
No,
are,
it
but
is
for
for
us,
sure.
you can just jump in sometimes and come into a conversation, like 1,000 guys in there, but 10 are talking, and get a little something and a little thumbs up, and you kind of think, cool, the kids are asking, and away you go again. Like, I've been in there before, like I've been so like blank-minded for ideas on a weekend.
Mhm.
And the simple things you even know, like doing chalk and hopscotch and stuff, like you forget. And all of a sudden you're going straight back out and doing
I
stuff
get
with the
the
kids
dude,
again.
the same kind of thing happens to me. I'm so happy that you said that. It is like outside of the support, it's cool. They're just like these gentle reminders, again, to use that term, intentional and like prioritizing your why. And dude, I just think it's a beautiful thing. I want to jump into, I didn't jot this down, but you mentioned something. Bro, were you in the military? Did you say you were in the army?
Yeah, I mean, probably not something we're going to talk about in too much depth on
No,
this and
no,
stuff.
don't. I mean, as deep down, I just like my mom was in the armed forces, and so I just have a massive respect for anybody who's gonna do that for their country. Were you
Yeah, I mean, listen, look, the reason why I don't talk about it too much is I left school at 16, joined the army, went military college, got off a commission and a degree. Then British Army pulled out of obviously Herrick 19, went to training ops, and then never served. So for me, like where I never went on tour,
okay?
it's not really something that like I talk about, right? I mean, I kind of have a gap in my life, obviously, on like
Yeah,
LinkedIn,
yeah,
which
but
people
dude,
see.
you went through the
And I get
process.
it,
Yeah,
but like the one thing I have is like you have all these chapters in your life, and that was obviously one of them, right? I don't miss it, but I appreciate it a lot. I don't miss any of my chapters, to be fair,
yeah.
but like I appreciate so much of either who it made me or what I got from it, right?
No, for
And that was
sure.
just one of, like I wouldn't be who I am today without it. Like there's no way I'd control, as you say, like high energy, right? Like
Yeah, yeah.
wouldn't be able to.
Were you in London or in and around that area the whole time? Did you go to like a
No,
basic
no,
training
no,
anywhere?
no, no, not at all. Midlands up north. Was in Germany for a while.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like it was about a bit. Plenty of time in like Brecon, Otterburn, like which is like basically Scotland and like Wales.
Okay, so like
But
super up north. Yeah, yeah.
training, yeah, just all about like it doesn't. There's not really much in London. It's funny though. Like our office now in London backs onto the HAC, which is like an honourable artillery company, and like there's not really much that goes on, but like when like the helicopters and that come down, like everyone goes straight to the window and sees
Oh,
it like it's
I
back.
bet.
Yeah, there's not really much like open space in London, but like that's what we back into in our office. But it's kind of cool. But I just appreciate it for what it was.
No, for
That's it.
sure.
Like, I
Dude, regard,
don't
bro,
miss it.
I think you're downplaying it. Just going through that process and being a part of the program, like I'm sure it helped you with tremendous discipline and like there's so many of these little nuggets, as you said, like yeah, for sure helped craft you into the person that you are today. I think that's so cool, dude. Get the hell out of here. That's super cool.
But that's what all comes into what I'm trying to share to like who we're bringing through, right?
Yeah.
And like we come from an industry which isn't like new. It's not like some fancy, cool, groundbreaking technology. But we're like 15, 16. I tell the guys and the girls even like we're a startup. Yeah,
Oh yeah.
we might not be as an industry or like a tech, but like we are a startup. Like we're cool, we're sexy, we're growing fast. Like buy into this. I'll give you everything that I know because if I do that, and you're bought into me, 5 years down the line, I haven't got to do my job anymore. I've got 10, 20 people that are doing it for me.
Yeah.
So like yeah, I take all these things that I've learned in my life and just give it to somebody else. But happily, like, people question like, why'd you give away? It doesn't matter. Like at the end of the day, it's like any service, right? I mean, in yours, you give away like what you know, you explain to them, you train your clients, like you teach them. And they kind of think to themselves, I've got enough to think about anyway. I trust you. You told me, just deal with it.
Yeah.
But that's what service is, right? And then they want you to be attentive. Like any service job, right? Doesn't matter like how smart you are. All it is just if you are best in class customer service.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it might not be on the
100%.
onboarding or bring them on, but to keep a client past 6 months, the one thing that differentiates you between you and someone else, even if the IQ is 10 higher, they've got another degree, is just based on, do you have the best in class customer service?
Yeah.
And that's it. And it goes back to relationships and who you know,
Dude,
etc.
I was just gonna say that. I was gonna say you could break down to like, how does this person make me feel? How does this support make me feel? And it's so funny, dude. I literally just made the comment. I was talking to someone, is that of course depends on the service, but I would almost be more prone to side with a less adequate service where I knew that there was a tight relationship, and if I was experiencing something, they would be communicative with me, versus a more adequate service, but I have no customer support. If I'm going through a rut or I need some support, I'm submitting some ticket and now it takes 48 to 72 hours for someone just to, you know what I mean? Like, and
Full
that
spat.
stuff, to your point, that is the gold. Like CSM, that customer CX experience, it drives your revenue and it preserves LTV, lifetime value. And I think that, dude, you hit the nail on the head.
And that's it, man. Like, and I think if you can keep that, like, and you can be human first, like, we have great tech and great partners, like literally best in class, like payments,
Yeah.
15 minutes anywhere in the world for 90% of payments. So
Dang.
it's not our tech, and that's why we don't shout about it, because, but we have it there. But then what do we add more? Because lots of people have that tech. It's
Mhm.
not that they wouldn't bring that tech out just for us. It's for as many people as possible. That's how they do their business.
Yeah.
So how do we differentiate? And it just goes down to CSM. Like if you can be attentive and caring and understanding, like building our business out and stuff, like the clients that we have, like, they know us, right?
Yeah.
And you have a year, two, maybe even more relationship. But when they get to really know you, like if you then are away or don't get back to them for like 30 minutes, you're in a meeting, they don't go elsewhere. They know as well, like when they do normally call, you pick up the phone instantly. When
Bingo.
they used to like their bank on a 3 hour call. And the thing is, it goes down to it, right? If you've got, as you said, someone that will pick up the phone and go and fight for you and go and figure out what it is and knows how to get it done anyway. I mean, companies take out business insurance and interruption insurance for this stuff,
Yeah.
right? So, like, if your supplier is doing 3 days breakdown and it stops all your business, but then say your servers went down for 3 days, you'd need like cyber or something like I don't know, some protection. I'm not an insurance
Oh
guy, right?
no,
But
for sure. It's
you'd
a
need
credit
something.
trade, some no, but you're right. Yeah.
And in payments, you have a guy that can go and fix it and get something out the same day still. I mean, you're not paying for it. But then that goes back to like our whole messaging, which is like beyond the broker. Like we don't just book trades, execute, even like book forwards, like and like de-risk them. Like that's a big part of our service. Like we quantify our service in policies and guidelines and risk management, and we simplify it. We don't make it complicated.
Yeah.
For the whole year, they haven't got to worry about it rather than worrying about it like every other day.
Yeah.
It might take a little bit more time sitting down for a few hours, but it saves them 50 hours through the year.
No,
It
100%.
comes from that same mentality of like, but then when something goes wrong, that's where you get measured up to the class of, for us, broker that you are, you
Yeah.
know. And that's all we can do,
That's
and
the
that's
dude,
where
but that is the quintessential, like that is the differentiator, as you said. Like, sure, everybody and their mom has this type of capability if they're playing in this field, but it's that type of CX forward thinking people first approach. Like that's your differentiator, and that's why your partners probably want to stay on board with you and they trust you. And like we were just talking last week on one of your posts. I forget what you had posted about, but it jogged. I made a comment just with respect to like, dude, it's so important that you're sending this message because there are some countries it's so hard to get money out of. Like regardless of any exchange conversion, it's just I live in the debt collection world. We perform globally. There are some countries where like, dude, it takes anywhere from 6 to 9 months just to get the green light. You're getting VAT taxed up the butt. just to see money transferred out, especially if it's in larger quantities. So partnering with somebody who has that type of forward insight and that tight customer journey support, bro, that is the differentiator, man. 100.
Sure. I mean, like, it's so situational as well, right? Like, I
Yeah.
don't want to jump into like product and stuff right now. Like, obviously, we all know that compliance rules are roost in every industry, right?
Oh,
Especially like for us an MSP, like in the
pain in my
FCA.
ass is what they are. But
Yeah, of
yes.
course, of course. So I don't want to jump into it now and try and debug it all. But yeah, of course. And like, I think the biggest thing of it all is what I see the most when people do cross-border business. It becomes like a naivety.
Uh-huh.
You see like this product, you get someone of your in your procurement or buying team to go and find like a supplier. It seems really cheap, and you go and buy it. Then you add on a few costs, and you think, oh, they've added on cost there, but it's still really cheap. And then all of a sudden, the market drops 15%, and you go, wait, this is costing more than the UK.
Yeah.
I always say to people all the time, like, if your supplier down the road like, turned around when you come to buy your goods and said, yeah, it's 10% more now, what would you say to him? And obviously, you know, it's
Yeah, it's like kick rocks.
asterisk, 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 right? And I say, well, why'd you do it then when it's coming over border? And they're like, oh, I don't know. Like, we're not trying to play markets, but we just protect downside risk, right? So
Yeah.
we policies from the start of the year, you know, it's almost like a gamble aware sort of thing for some clients.
No, for sure.
And
But I'm
the
sure
thing
you're
is,
also forecasting for these guys as well, right?
yeah, we give them any insight that we have
Yeah.
from hundreds of banks or hedges or whatever it might be, but it's still their decision. Like we're not running away trying to advise on money, but we just make sure that like we give them context, insight, so that they know that the main thing that we do realistically is give them more time.
Uh-huh.
And what I mean by that is like we can take them out of the market for periods, which means they can trade at a steady rate. Their sales guys have got targets, they hit their targets, they make their extra money. And if the market goes up or down, they haven't got to worry about it because that's the whole aim anyway, right?
Yeah.
You got this product 30% cheaper than the UK. You can lock that in 30% cheaper. Just do it. Like that's kind of really like the basic of our job.
No, for sure.
Obviously, there's things in like, you know, variation changes and whatever it may be on their order books and clients and customers and credit terms. Obviously, we do finance as well for cash flow gaps. But I say to clients like realistically, what we do is optimize cash flow across borders.
Uh-huh.
So we make sure it keeps on flowing, market moves. Ideally, if the client listens, that like nothing, they're not affected by it.
Yeah.
If they need extra time because they're delayed on a customer paying them and giving the cash flow, that's kind of like the business side. But like when I say like what the mission is like I just want to make international business as seamless as what it is inside borders. You
I
know,
love that.
it shouldn't be any harder. The only variables you've got are maybe some shipping costs, taxes that you should know if it wasn't Trump.
Right.
You know, I mean, his tariffs are a little bit hard to keep up with. Like we're
Yeah,
quite a poor
especially
country.
second time around, he just launched some bombs on
I know, I
offshore
know.
tariffs.
I'm quiet to the client sometimes. Like, you haven't told me what's going on with Trump. And I say, to be honest with you, if I told you tomorrow it might be bad information, I'm like, no information is better than bad information. So
Yeah.
I kind of try to stay quiet. It's been a weird 3 months for us for sure.
When I'm sure it changes for you every day. You're getting new tips and hints of are we going up? Are we going down? Are we but I saw you did post something that it sounds like there was some type of come to Jesus meeting or treaty between the UK and the US with respect to tariffs. Is that still a thing?
Yeah, but like it hasn't moved the market at all. You know, like at the end of the day, when we won't get into like analyticals right now, but like the brief is Trump came in, protectionist sort of leader. Market went down, flew down Q4 last year, 130 odd, back down to like 120 or whatever it may have been. And then he come in, but then he started to like, we call it dilly dallying. Like he
Yeah.
didn't take a firm approach. This, pause that. If he came in, I think dollar would be much stronger. I mean, whether there's an ulterior motive to keep it weak for investment, who knows? But like our job is not to speculate and it's not for our clients because
Yeah.
a client that we might have, you know, they're looking to grow their Brazilian office or they're looking to import from China. They just like, they need to know, you just need to know how much you're paying. Yeah. If you know how much you're paying, you can then plan on what you're going to sell. Then you know what your profit margin is. And you haven't got to worry about like if it's going up and down. Like, I mean, it's more volatile now than it was back in Brexit, back in 2016.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. And I'm sure
you know,
that shook the trees for you. That was a major adjustment.
it was crazy. Like, I mean, I think I started actually trading, not doing like sales. I did like a few months of sales and started doing like dealing. But it was all like in the pessimism of like everything being so expensive,
Yeah.
and then it was just a back and forth, the uncertainty. So like, you know, you can't predict short term. Like you can maybe have a view on mid and long term, but for us, for clients, we just want to give them like literally just like time. And as we do it every year, we plan normally like Q4 each year for the year ahead. And we don't ever book everything out. We don't just lock it all in. It's not just like a set and forget like model, but it's just based around like their risk appetite and what they're looking to grow into. So it fits where they're going to go the next 12 or maybe 24 months. And with that, like they come into the year this year, the market dropped off, very expensive to import, but all of the clients were completely fine, just steadily importing because they
Yeah.
had contracts and they're hedged out. And then obviously now it's starting to go back up. Those contracts are finished. They're just buying up cheaper rates anyway.
No, for sure.
Had the time not to panic. Whereas other clients might have like completely destroyed their year because they didn't do that. Then they hesitated the first few months of the year, and now they're a few months behind
Bingo.
competitors.
Yeah.
And it goes back down to that. So it just comes always down to, can we give you time? How well can we quantify our service to show you how we do that? And if you buy into it, even a little bit, it will benefit you anyway, because we're not trying to play the markets and get the highest or lowest rate if you're buying or selling.
Yeah.
It is literally to, what does it fit into your business, for how long, and what your risk appetite is? Can we help? So anyway, I feel like I've tangented into the business too much.
No,
I'm
no, but
selling
dude,
these
I
life
love it. Look,
options,
you're
but
where we live in the same world, but you're definitely in like a way different pocket. And so that, I mean, that was tremendously valuable for me, especially because I play in the import export transfer of money onshore, nearshore. And it is, dude, it's volatile. There's the short-term decisions and they kick you in the butt the hardest instead of, like you said, having that long-term game plan, understanding your payables, your receivables, what your margins are, and using those analytics to make your decisions moving forward versus seeing that a new president was elected in the US and totally losing your shirt making these decisions based off of assumptions and what you're
so
seeing from
basically,
like the
like just
media.
being paid by like, I mean, we don't go into like the what's it called? Conspiracy theories, but the mainstream media puppet strings,
Oh,
right?
they'll take
So
you there. They'll take you there.
when you say you're in debt collection, right, and like tax,
Yeah.
so say like overseas, but like, so what level is it? I'm guessing it's like all B2B, like quite serious level debt collection,
Oh, I
or like
mean, I
how does
do
that sit?
absolutely everything. We do commercial B2B. I do
Yeah.
consumer. Like I focus on six core sectors right now. I got my banking and finance world, credit unions, major banks, taxes, that type of stuff. I got my commercial world, which is just standard B2B business. I do higher education, which is student focused. So now you're in the B2C landscape. Healthcare, which is super volatile right now in the States because the CFPB has been torn apart. A lot of the regulations that kind of dictate what a debt collector can and can't do against a patient account is all over the place. Where else am I? We do government, municipal type of accounts.
But
I
what
mean,
are you chasing? Like, how, like, what are these? Is it like a legal thing,
oh
or is
yeah,
it
it's 100% safe, dude. One of my favorite partner offices is in your area. They're called, gosh, what are they called? Wayback, I want to say. I'll send you offline. But yeah, dude, I mean, I have a UK debt recovery firm, and really, it's just as simple as if you're a company and your customers are either other companies or individuals, and they sign a contract or click to acknowledge terms online that says, hey, I want this service for 200 bucks, or I'm going to send a product to you. And then the company gets a charge back. You're like, all right, well, dude, that's a debt. And so
okay?
those guys would go to a debt collector that are like, we're just financial professionals. So we try and
So
recover
you
that debt.
package the like the consumer stuff together, but
Yeah.
then you actually chase like the corpse as well. And
Yeah.
then when they
Yeah.
have to pay out, they just send the money back to your company, and then it goes back to the client. That's
Pretty
kind of the
much.
thing.
And then, yeah. So, like, and how
You're not
we
like
make
knocking
our
on
earnings.
doors with like sledgehammers and stuff like that. It's
Yeah,
more
not
like
not so much anymore. But I do have some clients that wish that we still operated that way. I'll tell you that. But yeah, man, and then we get paid. It's a contingency. So our little gimmick is like no win, no fee. I don't get paid unless I could pay you. So Jacob, if you submitted $1,000 that John down the street owed to you, I would get John to pay that $1,000. I'll probably take $200 out of it, and then I'll
yeah.
give you $800. You didn't
Yeah.
spend anything up front. You got your money back, and I made a couple bucks as well. And so it's kind of a win-win.
And the weight comes in like the corporate stuff that I'm guessing, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, like, especially with our offshore accounts, or you talk about the banking and finance world, instead of $1,000, it's $7.5 million. And it takes legal escalations. You're playing
That's your
into the
6 and 9 month stuff
yeah,
and
yeah, that some of
signing
those
from
take
like
a little
head
bit
of
longer.
states and oh, okay.
So, but yeah, man, that's why I'm so into what you're doing because, like, I'll give you an example. I had a client, we did a massive recovery for a helicopter manufacturer in Nigeria. Nigeria, very difficult country for you to send significant funds outside of the country. Like,
Yep.
even if they want to tax you with, like, tax your whole shirt off, just it's hard to get money out of there. And so even after recovery, it was another 6 to 9 month process just working with the African municipalities and whatever their government financial sanctions are to get those funds released to be sent to the United States where my client and obviously we were located. So you're a lot of what you're focusing on in the exchange world and that future forecasting and don't get ahead of yourself. I live and breathe and see almost the negative side of it, the people who do make big decisions based off of short term assumptions. When those guys lose their shirt, they'll hit up somebody like me hoping that I could find them a jacket. And sometimes it's doable and sometimes it's not doable. And you just kind of got to be super realistic with here's what you did wrong. Here's what I'd recommend to do in the future. Talking about like personal guarantors or trade credit trade insurance. Like there's a ton of little financial vehicles that you can utilize to protect yourself. But yeah, man, ultimately we're just collecting debt.
That's it. It might be worth a conversation with us off screen and stuff. But
No, that would be so fun.
yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah, for
but
sure.
look,
Like
man,
we
I
can
know it's is it getting
that's it.
late on your side? It must be at this point.
Yeah, but all good for me, man. Anyway, the kids are asleep now. Like that's why I did 9 because like if I did 8, the
Yeah.
kids are like
Y-
probably still fighting to get
You
out of their
still in
rooms. So,
that you still in that
you know,
tee
like
off.
sometimes you feel like 8 o'clock you're playing whack a mole. One comes out, it's like
Oh,
back you
bro,
go.
I know that
Another
life.
one comes out, back you go.
I
So
know that life. Well, that's dope, dude. We're coming up on 40 minutes, so I'll just go ahead and stop the cast and then I'll rap to you offline after this part. Boom.